Thank you. Provided in accordance with the requirements of Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. Notice of the meeting was posted on the bulletin board in the lobby of the Administration Building, 163 Monmouth Road, Oakhurst, New Jersey. All Ocean Township District Schools, the Transportation Office, and the School District website on January 3rd, 2024. Notice of the meeting was transmitted to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster newspapers on January 3rd, 2024. And notice of the meeting was filed with the municipal clerk, Township of Ocean, on January 3rd, 2024. Could we all please rise for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we'll move on to the report of the annual school election. The official results of the annual school election held for the Township of Ocean Board of Education on November 5th, 2024, per certification from the Monmouth County Board of Elections are as follows. Candidate Jamie Stevens, 8,347 votes. Ms. Irene Gilman, 8,865 votes. Mr. John McCarthy, 8,466 votes. And we had 307 write-in votes. At this point, we'd like to swear in our members. We'll go alphabetically, beginning with Ms. Gilman.
You mean I? Oh, I thought we were going to spell Irene.
Wherever you look. Everybody do the repeat after me, or do you want to grab your copy to follow along? Or I got one for you.
Do you have a copy?
Have it here too. if you need it.
Okay, if you'll raise your right hand, we'll make it official. I state your name. Do you solemnly swear or affirm
Solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and this state
and this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
So help me God.
So help me.
I state your name.
I am Irene Gilman.
Do you solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law,
for the office of member
office of member
of a Board of Education,
of a Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified
that I am not disqualified
as a voter
as a voter
pursuant to
pursuant to
RS
RS
19:4-1,
19:4-1,
nor disqualified
nor disqualified
due to a conviction of a crime
due to a conviction of a crime
or offense
or offense
listed in
listed in
NJS
NJS
18A:12-1,
18A:12-1,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of that office
of that office
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Dorothy? All right. I state your name.
I, John McCarthy,
Do you solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and this state
and this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I state your name.
I, John McCarthy,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of member
for the office of member
of a Board of Education,
of a Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified
and that I am not disqualified
as a voter
as a voter
pursuant to
pursuant to
RS 19:4-1,
RS 19:4-1,
nor disqualified
nor disqualified
due to the conviction of a crime
due to the conviction of a crime
or offense listed
or offense listed
in NJS
in NJS
18A:
18A:12-1,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of that office
office
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
It's hard to do that.
That was like the best part, right?
Oh, yeah.
I state your name. You solemnly swear or affirm
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution of
of the United States
the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and this state
and this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority,
So help me God.
so help me God.
I state your name.
I, James Stevens,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office
for the office
of member of a Board of Education,
of member of the Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified
and that I'm not disqualified
as a voter
as a voter
pursuant to
pursuant to
RS
RS
19:4-1,
19:4-1,
nor disqualified
nor disqualified
due to conviction of a crime
due to conviction of a crime
or offense
or offense
listed in NJS
listed in NJS
18A:12-1,
18A:12-1,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of that office
of that office
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
You might need to come this way.
You're gonna, yeah.
Yeah, come.
Have to come around this way.
Unless you wanted to jump the table.
Hey, neighbor.
At this point, we'd like to take our roll call. Mr. Dalton. Here. Mrs. Dam.
Here.
Mrs. Gilman.
Here.
Mr. McCarthy.
Here.
Mrs. McGovern.
Here.
Mr. Schneider.
Here.
Mrs. Stevens.
Here.
Mrs. Talarico.
Here.
And Mr. Weinstein.
Here.
Thank you. Okay, at this point, we are going to move to the election of the board for president. I'd like to just note in our policy 152. The Board of Education shall organize at its first regular meeting by electing one of its members as president and another as vice president. A second to a nomination is not required. Election for each office will be conducted by a vote when the nominations for that office are closed. When more than one person has been nominated for a single position, the board will vote on candidates in the order in which they were nominated. And also, the person with the majority vote of all members of the board shall be elected. So at this point, I'd like to open the floor for nominations for president.
I'd like to make a nomination for president. So I'd like to nominate John McCarthy, who is for the last year was our vice president and for 3 years has been my colleague on this board. And I just want to also say that he is my also my comrade in tear jerking the most when having to make emotional speeches, and has become one of my new friends. So I'm honored to nominate John for the position of president of the board.
Thank you. Any other nominations? At this point, we'll close nominations and we'll vote for Mr. McCarthy as president of the board. Mr. Dalton,
Yes.
Mrs. Dan,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilman,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Mrs. McGovern.
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mrs. Stevens,
Yes.
Mrs. Talarico.
Abstain.
Thank you, Mr. Weinstein.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Is that? I think I take it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Happy to
Uh-oh, he's
see
gotta
you.
get off. Now. It's a long journey over here. In the Next seat.
At this point, Mr. McCarthy, you can open nominations for
Thank you.
Vice
Appreciate that, Mr. Hastings, thank you. I would like to open up the floor to nominations for my vice president. Do I have any nominations? Mrs. McGovern.
Yes, for vice president, I would like to nominate Mr. Gerard Dalton, if he will accept. I believe that even though some may say he's only been here for a year, Mr. Dalton has served on other boards of education and is very knowledgeable and has proven his knowledge over just even this 1 year serving with him. He also is a former educator, as many know, all the way up to superintendent, and is always put children first and understands, and in a lot of ways can have a good conversation with us to get us back to the track of what we're here for. So I would like to nominate Mr. Dalton.
Thank you.
any other nominations? Seeing none, we can close nominations for vice president. The roll will be called for vice president for Mr. Dalton. Mr. Dalton,
Yes.
Mrs. Dan,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilman,
Yes.
Mrs. McGovern,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mrs. Stevens,
Yes.
Mrs. Talarico,
Yes.
Mr. Weinstein,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. I feel like I'm leaving Jamie alone. Congratulations to you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, that, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Hastings. Appreciate that.
Thank you. At this point, we'd like to open the meeting to our public comment session.
I think I got this.
You got this?
Yes,
Go ahead.
yeah, I can hear that. Thank you. The following are a series of reorganizational motions. All motions have been discussed at a recent public work session. Some motions have been approved at a public work session and the minutes for approved items. Am I reading the right thing? Sorry.
Mhm.
Yes.
You're in the right spot.
I'm in the right spot.
Yeah.
At this point, in the meeting, we will now conduct the first of two public comment sessions. The first session will be open for public comments on agenda items only. The second session will be at the end of this meeting and can be on any topic. Board of Education bylaws 0167 public participation in board meetings states that the Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on school matters of community interest. Public comment is not a question and answer session. Specific questions can be directed to the administration and the superintendent's contact information is on the podium. We encourage you to contact her with any questions that you may have. Public participation shall be governed by the following rules. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to a 5-minute duration. No participant may speak more than once on the same topic until all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard. The presiding officer may request any person to leave the meeting when that person does not observe reasonable decorum. And would anyone from the public like to comment at this time? I think we know this guy.
I think you might know me.
Mr. Mayor, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. First of all, I'd like to congratulate everybody here tonight. What a breath of fresh air to see a cohesive board working together for the betterment of the Township of Ocean. By the way, for those of you that don't know me, I'm John Napolitani. I live at 8 Old Weathersfield Road, Ocean Township, New Jersey. I appreciate your service to this community on the Board of Education. It is a breath of fresh air to see an old friend of mine, Jamie Stevens, who I used to work with in Asbury Park, my former business administrator, Jeff Hastings, and one of my former board members, Gerard Dalton. So it's really, really nice to see this up here. I wish you the best of luck, Mr. President,
Thank
as
you,
you
sir.
move forward this year.
Appreciate
You know what this takes, you know what it's gonna be all about. I wish you the best of luck, and Gerard, make sure you fill those shoes when he's not here in the right way. Good luck, everyone. Have a great year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And her daughter, so. So it's Jenna Siriani, 122 Franklin Avenue. I just want to say good evening, everyone, and I would like to say a few words and congratulate the elected board members. And a special congratulations to my mother, Irene Gilman, AKA the Gilmanator. You've done such an incredible job at staying focused throughout the previous term and had such grace and dignity through so much adversity. You truly are a class act, Mom. You stayed true to your first passion, which is education. Your service on the Board of Education has been an inspiration that even in retirement, you found a way to have a beneficial impact on the community and in education. I know that you will continue to work on behalf of the students and staff at Ocean Schools. Finally, seeing a united Board of Ed, as it should be, looks great. It's time to work together and keep the focus on our school system. Good luck to your fellow elected board members. Thank you.
Anybody remotely?
Do we have any commenters online?
Yes, President McCarthy, Alex Hayes, please go ahead.
Hi, I just wanted to confirm that there will also be a public comment at the end. I don't have an agenda in front of me because I'm on my phone.
Just
I know you.
there is public comment at the end, yes.
Okay, sorry. So now I'll just proceed. I have a couple of comments and some questions. I'm just pulling up my notes here. I'm just wondering if I didn't see an attorney on the dais, and maybe it's because my screen is small and I just can't see. Just wondering if the ethics training is going to still continue this evening. And I'm wondering if there's any more status on the hiring of a new attorney. Wondering if any information can be given about the lawsuits that the district is facing, and if that has anything to do with why there is a new board attorney being sought. I was also curious about the staffer who was injured in the high school before break. Injured breaking up a fight. So I'm just curious as to how that staffer is doing, and I hope he is all right and recovered or recovering. I appreciate Miss Weldon, some flyers now being in Portuguese. So that did not go unnoticed by me. So that's really nice to see, not just Spanish, but also Portuguese for our translation for our families.
Excuse me, Ms. Hayes.
Yep.
These are for agenda items right now. I think some of the topics you're mentioning are for later, probably in the next 10 minutes for the second session.
Okay, well, I still have some other things then for this session. Since you all just swore in some new people, I do find it interesting that the board last year didn't allow any of the new members to be committee chairs. So being that you just elected a awesome vice president and Mr. Dalton, who's only in his second year, hopefully you all will see fit to have some newbies / those folks under 2 years to be committee chairs. And it was also very fitting in his first sentence as president, Mr. McCarthy said, "I'd like to know who'd like to be my vice president," when it's not really your vice president. It's the boards and it's the community, not your vice president. Thanks. I'll say more later. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hayes. Do we have any other public commenters online?
Yes, President McCarthy, we have Allison Connolly.
Thank
Please go ahead.
Good evening and happy new year and happy reorganization. My name is Allison Connolly and I'm the president of the Township of Ocean Education Association. I just wanted to take a minute to congratulate Mr. McCarthy and Mr. Dalton in their new roles and let you know that the TOEA looks forward to continuing the amicable and successful relationship that we have been maintaining with the board in order to support our district. So thank you, happy new year, and best of luck to both of you.
Thank you, Mrs. Conlon. Do we have any other public comments or comment?
No, there are no further commenters.
Thank you. Wonderful. With that, we'll move on to agenda items 4.1 through 4.4.
Mr. McCarthy, I'd like to move items 4.1 through 4.4 for the opening of the new year for us.
Second.
We have items 4.1 through 4.4. Can we take the roll?
Mr. Dalton,
Yes.
Mrs. Dam,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilman,
Yes.
Ms. McGovern,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mrs. Stevens,
Yes.
Mrs. Talarico,
Yes.
Mr. Weinstein,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy.
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Public Relations, my acting chair right now is Mr. Weinstein. Would you please?
I'd like to discuss, up for discussion, 5.1. I think we all have some forms in front of us. Is that right? Is there anything we want to discuss on this? Jeff, anything you want to say about it?
Yes, so each member has a copy of the Code of Ethics. Our CUSAC requirement is to discuss ethics at our meeting here. You'll see you have a two-sided from New Jersey School Boards Association Code of Ethics for school boards members. There's about 10 items noted in the code, A through J. On the flip side is a signature page. So if members could please sign that this evening and return that to me, we'll put that on file. There's also a copy for you to keep as well. We've also provided with you, to you, a copy of the presentation done by Mr. Taylor for the board last year. You have about 100 pages of slides that go through each of the various items in the Code of Ethics and discusses those and gives some clarity to what those mean and talk about some cases in certain points to give examples of what those mean. And as well, we have a listing attached to the agenda of a recent clarification on relative and what a relative of a board member means. This was put out in a decision made by the School Ethics Committee to add clarity based on a case that was before them. So I would point you to that as well. The Code of Ethics, as it says here on the acknowledgement, the Code of Ethics became a part of the School Ethics Act on July 26, 2001. It was effective immediately. The board members should sign to acknowledge that they have not only received the copy, but also that they understand and should adhere to the Code of Ethics. I would also note that school boards and our own board attorney are available to board members for questions regarding ethics, should members have questions that come up, so those can be reviewed. But at the end of the day, it's up to each individual board member to make that decision for themselves. So I would encourage you all to review the Code of Ethics, to please sign the acknowledgement so that we can keep that on file, especially this year since we have our CUSAC coming up next month. So that'll be great. I would encourage you to go through the slides that were provided by Mr. Taylor and to also review the statement of relatives. It's rather extensive and page and a half basically of when you should vote yes or when you should vote no, or whether you should participate in negotiations based on the relationship. So again, thank you, and I'll turn it back to you, Mr. President.
And we'll discuss annual training in ethics at a later date. Be sure that that's on the schedule as a board.
Absolutely, we can
Mr.
arrange
Hayes.
that.
At this time, I'd like to know if anyone on the board has any old business they would like to discuss. Mr. Weinstein?
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, first I'd like to just kind of congratulate John, Irene, and Jamie for being on, for your winning your elections and being on the board. So, and you know, I've known you two for a long time and looking forward to working with you as well. And just excited to have everybody here together. Before we kind of, talk about, the work ahead, I do think, I just want to take a second and just kind of say, Denise and John did a great job last year, kind of being the president and the vice president. And just want to thank you for the work that you did last year. I think, there was a lot that was accomplished last year, and I think we really kind of gelled better as a team than we have in prior years. And I think that was a nice transition we made. So I feel really great about that. This next year, as we're kind of coming into it, there's a lot of things we have to do, a lot of things that are going to be on the docket for us. And, a lot of eyes generally are on the Board of Education more than there have ever been. And I think, all of us have a nice responsibility to kind of do the best we can in having good discussions, good arguments, agreeing when appropriate, disagreeing when appropriate. And I'm just really looking forward to the work ahead and just appreciate all your support as we kind of all work together, and just great to be part of this team. So thank you all.
Anyone else with old business? Thank you, Mr. Weinstein. Hearing that, any new business? Yes, Mrs. McGovern.
I'm gonna say that would have been new business too, but that's okay. So.
Well, let me say it again then. In the new business section.
No, I just want to congratulate John and Gerard, and implore you to know that you have 3 former presidents still sitting here that are more than willing to help you if you have a question about anything. I know that Ms. Weldon is very knowledgeable and helpful as well, and a guiding force for our district. I think that it can be very tough sitting in that seat, especially when you can't comment back to anybody in a lot of the public comment. I know you're good with that, but sometimes, you take some comments and beatings on things that are very, they're not accurate comments or things to take beatings for. So there are times they are, and you still take those as well. But to just keep a cool head and know that you have support around you, support with Gerard, but also support beyond that. Sitting here, I know you are very well aware that your position as the president is to preside over meetings and to kind of, keep with Ms. Weldon so she doesn't have to call 9 people at a time and give out the information the way it needs to be or not needs to be, because there are times where you will need to hold things until you get in front of all 9 people. And I know that you have no more power sitting here than any of the rest of us, and that you will serve very well. So I wish you both luck. And Jamie, welcome. We haven't had too much conversation, but welcome to our functional group of people sitting here.
Yep.
And Miss Gilman, again, welcome back. It's fun. It's a good time over here. And, I think we're going to have a great year.
Certainly is.
Here.
Any other new business?
Yes, Mr. McCarthy.
Skillman, please.
I couldn't be prouder. I think about you in high school. I think about you on our trip to London and Paris. And I look at your beautiful family, and there is no greater satisfaction to a teacher to see this kind of growth. So I'm extremely proud of you, and here you are as president of the Ocean Township Board of Education. And no, I'm not going to cry.
You're making John cry. I mean,
Thank you.
And Gerard, also so invested in education, so invested in students that you, in retirement, like me, decided to continue with helping children, helping staff members in such a difficult environment. But I know that we will prevail, because that's what we do as educators. And Jamie, welcome aboard. I so enjoyed talking with you throughout our campaign, and I know that you're going to make a valuable board member. And I think that this Board of Education, the people that are sitting here now, we are just going to accomplish great things. And I'm proud to be a member.
good job, Irene.
Any other new business from anyone in the group?
I'll just add, John, I appreciate all the positivity in the comments. I'm looking forward to working with the board and looking forward to working with the community to, make education a great place for our kids in Ocean Township.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jane.
You're welcome.
Anyone else with new business from the Morning. I would just like to say to everyone, can't do this, you know, understood, hold the gavel. It's first time, first time I officially get to touch it. I'm a proud son of this district. And it is an honor to be here right now, sitting in the seat. I think that it is my responsibility to ensure that my work speaks for itself. I fully understand that there is no power vested in me above any of you all, and I appreciate that you point that out, Amy. I really do. I think it's important that everyone understands that I am only as strong as you all make us as a board, and that we are a board of the whole. And so with that, I would like to say that I look forward very much to working with all of you. Gerard, I'm thankful that you're sitting here next to me. I genuinely believe that if there's somebody who's going to keep me in check, it's you. And I appreciate that. And that you're going to be a great person to bounce things off of. And I think it's a great thing. I think reflecting on how far we've come as a board in the past 3 years is a tremendous growth for this district. And we have a lot of work to do. There are a lot of things facing this district and a lot of unique problems that we have to put our heads together for, and getting 9 people to agree on anything is a very difficult thing. I think that we have a great community behind us, and a great administration and a wonderful staff in this district. It's the staff that raised me to care about my Spartan legacy. And I hope that we can continue to provide that for people like my children and all of the children in this district. It's something that I care about deeply. And that's all I have to say. Almost made it. Almost made it. Yeah, I should have looked at my children. With that, we will move to public comment, our second public comment session. As mentioned previously, the Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on school matters of community interest. Public comment is not a question and answer session. Specific questions can be directed to the administration. The superintendent's contact information is on the podium. We encourage you to contact her with any questions you may have. Public participation shall be governed by the following rules. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 5 minutes in duration. No participant may speak more than once on the same topic until all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard. The presiding officer may request any person to leave the meeting when that person does not observe reasonable decorum. Would anyone from the public like to speak? Mayor Napolitani, welcome back.
First time was in regard to you guys. Now I will speak on behalf of the municipality. As the mayor of this town, that I represent close to 30,000 residents here, I just want to say to this board, on behalf of the mayor and council, that we look forward to working with this board as we have done for several years now. I applaud Superintendent Weldon for working so closely with this council. We have had several meetings that we are looking to do additional shared service agreements with you guys to make sure that we run this municipality in an efficient manner, as we have done very well over the years. And again, I appreciate working with all of you. John, my door is always open to you. Just reach out, call me if you need anything. We're here for you guys, and understand that we want to continue that hard-working relationship. And I wish, Jamie, you're new, but this is not new to you. You know all about the Board of Eds. It's such a breath of fresh air to see educators on the Board of Education that know education and know how a Board of Education works and operates. So we look forward to that working relationship to continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Napolitani.
Hello, Gino Delamo, Wanamassa. I just want to congratulate everybody. Okay, and like John has said, it's great to see a great board that's going to work together and do great things for not only our school district and our staff, but our children, which is the most important factor that we have here. One thing that I do want to mention is that I usually come up here and tell you about the complaints that I hear all the time throughout our school districts, because I have teachers that tell me things, I have parents that tell me things, and then I have students that also tell me things. And I have to say that this year, I have not one complaint. And what I do hear throughout the different schools is that morale is up, not only with students, but with teachers and staff. And it just goes to show that this board is doing a great job. And I want to thank you for that. And congratulations, and we look forward to a great year.
Thank you.
William Garofalo, 7 Center Street, Ocean Township. Being back in this room after 20 years brings back a lot of memories. I sat on this board for 10 years, and I just want to relate to you the first thing that was said to me on my very first day in my very first meeting by a gentleman by the name of Carney Vetrano, who served on this board for 33 years. Very simply, he said, keep your eye on the mission and don't be distracted by the noise. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Billy.
Would anyone else here in the room like to make a comment? Mrs. Conway, do we have anyone who would like to make a comment online?
Yes, Mr. President, Alex Hayes.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mrs.
Please-
Hayes.
Please go ahead.
Hi, I just had a few more things to mention and to comment on and ask questions. I think it was maybe Amy who said in her comments that, sometimes you guys have to just, sit there and take what the public says and you can't comment back. But, as a reminder to some of the new Board of Ed members and even Ms. Stevens, of course, you can comment back. This was stated several years ago by the attorney. Board members can comment whenever they want. Of course, you guys will probably suddenly start implementing Robert's rules a little bit more emphatically, who knows? But there is no prohibition on school board members talking to comments, if they have questions and such. It wouldn't be a school board meeting without some crying. So that's always interesting. I do have some questions. I was wondering what the latest is on the Cindy Lane. I guess you want to call it a co-development or whatever the plans are with the town. Nobody's really been talking about that. As I mentioned at a previous meeting, it seems like it's like a secret discussions that nobody's having because the town folk are talking about it in public meetings, but the school board has not really mentioned what the potential is happening on Cindy Lane. So that is my question of what's the latest. I'm also having a question on the school board attorney that you all put out. I don't know if it was an RFP or what it was, but I'm wondering how many applicants and where this district stands on having a board attorney, how many applicants there were and where you stand. Another question is if there is ever going to be a update on the board building RFP or the request for ideas, request for proposals. Wondering how many applications you guys got and what some of the ideas were that people want to do with potentially that building and that property. Two other things, it's the richness isn't lost on me that Mr. Hastings talked about 100-page ethics document from Mr. Taylor. It's super rich, being that this board is facing 2 ethics cases with the School Ethics Commission and 2 lawsuits. That's more of a comment, though. And then my final comment is, again, just to reiterate how last year the board decided not to have any of the new members as committee chairs. That's the first time that's happened in years. So I would love, and I think the public would love to see, since you're all so unified and such, if any of the newer board members like Ms. Dam, Mr. Schneider, Mr. Dalton, and now Ms. Stevens could actually become committee chairs, particularly with other conflicts of other boards. That might be a smart thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hayes. Do we have any other public commenters online, Mrs. Conway?
No, Mr. President, there are no further commenters.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.